Hey guys, so Ryan Lewis here. Today I'm here to just talk about double runs. Right now I'm watching the World Series, Game 5, pretty big game.
Hernandez, the former Blue Jays, the last hope for the Dodgers.
Got him! Jeff Hoffman finishes it off, and the Blue Jays come into LA, take 2 out of...
And anyways, I just figured I would say, that doubles are really effective, especially, once you start doing higher mileage, because, for me, I'll usually do for my doubles, 8 in the morning, 7 in the evening, and I like to have at least 7 to 8 hours of rest in between runs. 8, in my opinion, is ideal, but sometimes, you might want to start that second run a little earlier. Sometimes you might have schedule issues, but you want enough time in between your runs so that you're recovering, and that just makes it more effective. So I would say the biggest thing about the doubles is that it really helps with adding on mileage, because doing 8 and 7 is going to be a lot easier on your body than doing 15. Now, one thing to think about is, long runs are still important, so I'm not saying disregard long runs, but I would say for me, like, doing 1 or 2 long runs a week, and long run is also subjective, so everyone's long run is going to be different, but for me, a long run is usually going to be like, 13 to like 16 miles. I guess really over 10 could technically still be a long run, but usually my long runs are going to be over 13 and usually at most 16. Sometimes, I might do longer runs like 17 or 18, but for the most part, it's usually going to be around that range. If I do a 15-mile run in the morning and I, let's say, finish it in, like, let's say I start my run at 8 and I finish a little bit before 10. So, that being said, I do have the whole day to recover, and then I'm going to be running the next day. So, you might have 20 hours of rest in between, your long run and your next workout. However, it's still a lot more taxing on your body. And even at an easy pace, like, it's still, your body's going to be working a lot harder running those 15 miles all at once as compared to doing 8, resting 8 hours, then doing 7, and then again resting however many hours between your next day. And I would say, doing 1 or 2 long runs a week is really good. And then the other 4 days that you train, or 5 days or whatever, really should be doubles. So that could look like track workout in the morning, 7 miles in the evening, or like 8 and 7, 9 and 7. And there's different combos. You can kind of play around with it. But for the most part, I've just noticed for me that doubles just really help add on that mileage. It helps reduce your injury risk. And also, a couple things about the doubles. When you do your first run, you want it to be longer than your second run usually, or like about the same. And in terms of pace, now this is kind of something funny, is my running mentor told me that you want your second run to be a little bit slower or the same pace as your first run. But the last several days, like almost every double run that I've done, my second run has actually been faster than the first one. So everyone kind of has different bodies. Like maybe that first one, like it's in the morning, maybe your body's warming up, and then maybe that second run you just feel like fresh and you just feel like finishing strong. Part of the reason behind why my mentor said you want that second run to be the same pace or slower is because you already ran earlier in that day. So it does vary, but regardless, doubles are great. And man, I've already been speaking for 4 minutes. Another thing is with doubles, when it comes to a long run, like, it is a 2-hour chunk of time, but in my opinion, in terms of scheduling, it's a lot easier to schedule a long run as compared to scheduling a double, because when I worked my old job with Fairway, I'd have to work from 3 to 9, and unless I'm doing my first run at 12 and then running after 9, which I really don't want to do, then that means that it's really hard to do doubles, and most of my shifts would be from 3 to 9. So I would end up doing my morning run, and then I would only have 4 hours or 3 or 4 hours of rest in between that first run and my next run. So almost every day I was just doing most of my mileage in the morning. I was doing a lot of long runs and a lot of like doubles with shortened rest. It does still make a difference, so even 3 or 4 hours of rest does make a difference, but obviously with the kind of level that I'm trying to train at, it's just not effective. Now I don't work there anymore. I got a different job, but my point is that, when it comes to doubles, like, your life really revolves around running. And also, from what I've heard, there's even like a human growth hormone spike when you kind of do that second run. So yeah, I mean, when it comes down to me, if you were to ask what I prefer to do, doubles or long runs, the truth is I love both. I mean, I guess at first I really loved the idea of just like doing that run and then not having to do anything for the rest of the day, or at least like running wise. But the more and more that I've been doing doubles, like, I realize like how effective it is, and how like I do that first run in the morning, and then those 8 hours go by so quick. And I'm doing like other stuff, like I'm lifting, I'm doing other things, but then, once I get to that, like, I'm just itching to do that second run, and it just fuels you up. So I think they're both important. I love them both, I would say, almost equally. There is a very satisfying feeling with the long run that, I finished this long run, even if it's at, an easy pace. A long run is always going to be a long run, and mentally, it's definitely going to make you mentally sharp. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of just, I'd say, secret. It's really a hack to adding mileage is doing those doubles. And yeah, I mean, usually I want my second run to at least be, I would say, anywhere from 5 to like, I mean, I think you can go as far as 9 miles for that second run. If you're training for an ultra, you could do double long runs. I mean, there's really no limit, but I'd say for marathon training, the most that I would ever want to get up to is something like, yeah, a long run and a short run, that's when you're getting to that insane mileage point. So 15 miles in the morning, and then like 7 to 8 like in the evening. But regardless, even when I was kind of starting out, I would do like 7 and 5 or 8 and 5, and even that's a good base. So hope this is helpful, and I hope you can incorporate that into your training. And that's all I got for today.